75 years ago this year, at a moment Europe still was in ruins and was mourning the millions of dead after the horrible Second World War, it was here in The Hague that hundreds of politicians, scientists, journalists, writers and others came together in the so-called Hague Congress to debate the possible outlines of a post-war multilateral European architecture to prevent a new Third World War.
Let us reflect on that legacy as we enter the second year of a Russian invasion which has returned war to Europe.
We are determined that instead of impunity, there will be accountability for the crimes that have taken place and which continue in Ukraine. That is why our experts are supporting the Ukrainian Prosecutor General's investigations into serious human rights violations.
And the road to justice may be long, but let us not forget that we have instruments in place that we did not yet have the last time war raged on the European continent. And the Netherlands is pursuing a three-tack approach to help achieve accountability. First, we're supporting the Office of the European Prosecutor General. Second, we're supporting the ICC in its investigations. And third, we're looking at additional ways to investigate and prosecute international crimes.
The problem is that we are by default Eurocentric because we're from here and we think that way, and many of the instruments were invented here. The Minister mentioned 𝗧𝗵𝗿 That doesn't necessarily mean the rest of the world sees it that way. And I think we need to be very cognizant that there is a narrative out there that Russia is spreading very actively that resonates incredibly well in Africa, in the Middle East, in the whole global South, actually. And sometimes that narrative is amplified by a tendency that especially the United States has lately started to divide the world in democracies versus autocracies. That has a very polarizing effect, and somehow then other countries could start to see human rights and democracy as Western tools of influence and domination. No, they're not. Yeah, because we're firmly convinced, again, we are convinced that that's the best way to live. And actually, I think if you would ask most people, how would you like to live? They probably want to live that way. But the ones sitting in the UN are not necessarily the people. They're their governments. And not all of them have an incentive to want to free up and give human rights to their entire population, because it could jeopardize their hold on power.
It's about the upholding of human rights by each and every citizen, also in places where the war still seems far away, where the erosion of human rights still seems something for other countries. And I was really, really impressed and happy to hear our minister speak also about human rights in the Netherlands, about the reflexiveness that comes with the dialogue that the 46 member states present here have had with each other on making human rights a reality over the past 75 years.
I think we should not only defend multilateralism in Europe, we should defend it worldwide. And we cannot do that by only passing the same narrative over and over again, that our truth is the best truth and you should listen to us. We have to really be better at tailoring this message. This is also a task for diplomats worldwide, as they try to make countries understand that the Russian narrative is a very nefarious one, the way they try to even use the colonial language. It's amazing. If you look at some of Putin's speeches, he's trying to weave everything together, that it's also that we are the colonizers, and he is invading a country and we're the colonizers. So we have to be really good at reaching these target audiences, not just from the high moral perspective, but we have to be able to also understand their point of view, because only then is it also their multilateralism and not just ours.